Hey everybody, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Hey everybody, listen to me. And I won't come out to play. But what I will do is stay home and play Blonder and Blonder by the Muffs. Hi there, my name is Chris, and this is Late Listening. And I have been doing a series about albums that came out in 1995, and I'm doing another one today that is the Muffs, Blonder and Blonder. When a few videos ago, I did the Clueless Soundtrack, and the Muffs covered Kim Wilde's Kids in America, first track on the Clueless Soundtrack. And I listened to that song and I thought, I love the Muffs. I haven't listened to them for a long time, and so I got out Blonder and Blonder, and I was like, oh my god, this album also came out in 1995. I kind of forgot about that. So, that's what I'm talking about today. I hope you'll stick with me for this discussion. I'm not really going to be playing so much music, I'm just going to be talking about the record and going track by track. So, let's get into it. Alright, first of all, let's talk about the album art. I love that cover. Nobody's face is completely in the frame. And this album art kind of reminded me a little bit of like Mudhoney's, like My Brother the Cow, or even A Piece of Cake. Inside is this kind of 1950s collage. I don't know, those little like asterisks remind me of like 1950s kind of modern art. Some nice photos of the band in here. Kim Shattuck riding a little horsey. And, yeah, the awkward urinal shot there. I wonder who took that picture. High fidelity. This cool illustration, too, underneath the CD. There's, like... This is the part that really reminded me of Mudhoney. Mr. Fotheringham's illustration. And then on the back, this band photo with Kim Shattuck wearing her kind of vintage, like, little girl dress. The Muffs were in an interesting place when they recorded this, their second record. Their debut self-titled album, which came out a few years earlier, had a different lineup, and Kim Shattuck had actually formed the Muffs with Melanie Vanman, and also Ronnie Barnett was helping. And then a week or two before they went into the studio to record this record, Melanie left the group, and all of a sudden they didn't have a rhythm guitar player, they didn't have that fuzzy, grungy sound that marked their debut, and Kim Shattuck had to do all the guitar solos without any rhythm guitar supporting her, and they became a power trio. So it completely changed the sound of the Muffs. From the first record to this record, it's quite a different sound. And actually, I think it was for the best, because it forced all of them to really up their game, and I think it also kind of made Kim Shattuck step up her songwriting. The songwriting is very different from the first record to this album. The first album is good, but it's kind of samey, I guess. It's good, solid kind of grunge punk, but this album is great. This is a great album. Pretty much every song on here is awesome. I listened to this record all the way through. There's a lot of records I noticed in this series I've been doing on albums that came out in 1995. There's a lot of records that came out in 1995 that I can listen to pretty much all the way through. They're just really great records. It was a wonderful time back in 1995 for music. Yeah, I love it. Also, the Muffs, they changed record labels. They went from Warner Brothers to this album came out on Reprise. This was produced by Rob Cavallo, who, of course, has worked with all kinds of huge bands, and he's a heavyweight producer. But Kim Shattuck has said that even though Rob Cavallo gets the credit on this album for being producer, he wasn't actually there that much, because he was also the producer of Green Day's Dookie, which became multi-platinum at this time, label mates of the Muffs. And he was also like an A&R guy, and he was doing all these different things, and so he was so busy. He was in the studio sometimes, but a lot of the time it was like the band and the engineers, and they were just like figuring stuff out. So Kim Shattuck actually shares producer credit with Rob Cavallo, because she was so instrumental in shaping the sound of the album. And one more thing, in 2016, this album was reissued by Omnivore Recordings. And they did this really nice package. They have tons of outtakes and demos and lots of bonus tracks on that. Alright, let's get into it. Track 1, Agony. Kim Shattuck wanted this to be the lead single. Actually, the single ended up becoming Sad Tomorrow, track number 4, but she voted for Agony. Agony is such a great song. It's such a I feel like if people don't know the Muffs and you want to kind of tell someone about them in one song, like Agony is a really good example of like what the Muffs are, what they're capable of. They're capable of agony. I always think of Kim Shattuck's voice as like not really like singing, but more like sneering in tune with the music. She has this really great snarl sneer that she does, much better than Courtney Love. It's kind of like the Fastbacks, or it's in line with like kind of like Bikini Kill or some of those those Riot Girl bands. Not a similar vocal style, but just that kind of attitude. She brings such attitude to her voice. I really, really love Kim Shattuck's voice. And weirdly, it kind of sounds like she's singing with a British accent sometimes. I don't know if you notice that. Not on every song, but like sometimes, and especially on this song. And I love the drum fills. I love Kim Shattuck's scream. She can scream with the best of them. And at the end of this song, she really lets go many times. And it almost sounds like her voice is going to blow out, like Kurt Cobain style. All right, track 2, Oh Nina. This Nina from Pasadena, the queer ballerina. She made a fool of you, and yet you still dream of her, you still want her, and so you're drinking wine, fantasizing about Nina, and Kim Shattuck is here to kind of make fun of you and bring you down. And she's like, "You have a good time, yeah!" Oh, it's such a beautiful, like, sarcastic moment. I like the weird melody. I like that, like, there's many chord changes. The melody, at first I was like, this is a really weird, like, chorus. And then later I found myself like singing it, or like I was thinking about it again, like it would kind of sneak up on me. And also I like the fact that this is one of those classic songs with like the girl's name in the title. Someday I want to compile like a playlist of all the like girls' name songs. It's so rock and roll, You got Lola by the Kinks. You got so many Beatles songs with girls' names. Lovely Rita, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Lady Madonna, Hey Jude, Eleanor Rigby. You got Linda Linda by the Blue Hearts. Sheena is a punk rocker. Judy's a punk. Penelope by Pinback. Candy by Morphine. Layla by Derek and the Dominoes. Bernie by Failure. Roxanne by The Police. Suzanne by Weezer. Jane Says by Jane's Addiction. Sweet Jane by the Velvet Underground. Hazy Jane 2 by Nick Drake. Jolene by Dolly Parton. Wynona's Big Brown Beaver by Primus. Allison Road by the Gin Blossoms. Allison by Slowdive. To Sheila by the Smashing Pumpkins. Regina by the Sugar Cubes. Polly by Nirvana. My Sharona by The Knack. Irene Goodnight by Leadbelly. Help Me Rhonda by the Beach Boys. Karina and Visions of Johanna by Bob Dylan. Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Hey There Delilah by the Plain White Tees, and you get the idea. Track 3, On and On. I like this song a lot. It kind of reminds me of NoFX somehow. And I really like the first verse, the lyrics. Two ugly people come my way, tell me that I'm wrong, but I don't care what people say, and it goes on and on. Now I'm wishing for your death. Tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm just wasting all my breath. Okay. And then she sings about a bad kind of soul, a mean kind of man. I know you would agree. If he died suddenly, I'd live happily. Man, she really hates that guy. I like how Kim Shattuck pulls no punches with her lyrics. Like, she talks about death, she talks about suicide. She's just straight up, like, she just says exactly how she's feeling and her emotional reaction to stuff. And, yeah, no punches pulled. So track 4 is the single, the big song, the big single from the album. It wasn't a huge song. It was more like a college radio hit. But I think this is a beautiful song. I think it's a lovely, simple little pop song. And Kim Shattuck has complained about the music video because she was wearing a lot of makeup and she was way too close to the ring light, so she looks like a kabuki or a kabuki actor. And yeah, but I don't know. The music video is really fun. The Muffs, you get a sense of like how playful the Muffs are. And this song is just amazing. I mean, this is a great, really great little pop song. Kim Shattuck was a big fan of the Kinks. I feel like in this song's DNA, there are some kinks. There's some kinks in its DNA. I guess the record company wanted Red Eyed Troll to be the lead single off this album, and they fought for it pretty hard, and then Kim Shattuck was like, no. And she wanted Agony, track 1, Agony. But they compromised, and they said, how about Sad Tomorrow? And Kim Shattuck didn't want to release a ballad as the lead single. And then everybody, like the record label, Rob Cavallo, the other bandmates were like, Kim, this is not a ballad. This is just a, mid-tempo pop song. And she was like, oh, I guess so. I would say Sad Tomorrow is a good way to get someone into the Muffs, but at the same time, I don't think it's really representative of their sound overall. Like, she doesn't scream at all, it's not that heavy. It's a beautiful, wonderful song, but it's like, I feel like somebody might almost be tricked by like listening to that and just being like, oh, this like, you know, power pop band, and then it's like, oh, no, they're actually punks. Oh. Track number 5, What You've Done. This is like true Kim Shattuck, like sneering, snarling punk vocals. Especially after Sad Tomorrow, it's like all of a sudden she just becomes so aggressive. It creates a completely different atmosphere than Sad Tomorrow, which is awesome. The lyrics are about a former lover who lied and she's kind of over it. I really love the energy of this song. The whole thing sounds really 90s, like it's just the whole, like the verses where she kind of plucks the guitar, and then there's a little like, there's this moment of like feedback before the chorus hits. And like all of that stuff, it's just so 90s. I feel like the sloppy guitar solo that basically mimics the vocal melody is also so 90s. It's very Kurt Cobain, like a Kurt Cobain ironic guitar solo. Track 6, Red-Eyed Troll. This song has kind of a Meat Puppets cowpunk thing going on, but at the same time it also kind of sounds like a No Doubt B-side. Like, I feel like if you put Gwen Stefani's vocals on there, it's just like, it's a No Doubt song. Yeah, but I love this song also. It just makes you want to jump around and kind of go crazy. She's just ripping on the Red-Eyed Troll. It's funny when she sings, I don't need your attitude, I don't need no attitude when you pick on me. And she sings that with such serious attitude that it just makes it kind of like perfect. Yeah. And also, I feel like the image of the red-eyed troll is like more relevant now than ever. Track 7, End It All. The best song Green Day never wrote. No, I don't mean any disrespect to the Muffs. Like, I know I said that the last track was like a kind of like a No Doubt song or Meat Puppets, but it's like, I mean, it doesn't really sound that much like it. The Muffs have their own sound, but at the same time, I mean, Rob Cavallo produced Dookie by Green Day around the same time, or like a year before, and you know, they're label mates and they come from the same area, and it's like, I don't know, I can see how End It All is like a Green Day song. I'm sure they weren't trying to write a Green Day song, but it just has that kind of DNA, I think. It shares that kind of sound. And this is like the most casual, most poppy sing-along song about like suicide. Besides maybe like Nerf Herders, There's 5,000 Ways to Die. Yeah, it's like, this song is basically just like the ultimate existential question, you know. Do you want to take it easy or do you want to end it all now? It's up to you. Track number 8, Laying on a Bed of Roses. Is this song about gaslighting? I don't know. This is kind of intense. I love it when she sings like, basically like it's the lyrical equivalent of her sticking her tongue out and into your ear as you're listening to it. No, I love the snarl and the sneer of Kim Shattuck. She's a queen. Track number 9, I Need a Face, is also a pretty good song, but it's probably one of my least favorite songs on the album. It's just kind of a 2-minute little SoCal pop punk thing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Track number 10. I feel like this song very much is like a Ramones inspired song, or just like early, you know, proto-punk. Hey everybody, listen to me and I won't come out to play. Ha 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 ha. I quoted it at the beginning of this video. Yeah, it's a great song. I don't have that much to say about it. It's just really great. Just please go listen to it. And then track number 11, Funny Face. Funny Face is kind of like a power ballad. I don't really love this song. I feel like I Need a Face and Funny Face are the two maybe weakest songs on the record. I don't really go back to them much. I do listen to the record all the way through, but I don't particularly seek these songs out. I do like the opening lyrics of Funny Face, though, where she says, sitting back and doing nothing. I could hate you. I don't think I will. If you ever see me anywhere and you know me, please walk away. That's me in a nutshell. Especially me back in 1995. Kim Shattuck, you know me. I feel so seen. Really great, kind of random song toward the end of the record. Track 12, Ethyl My Love. Another song with a girl's name in the title. She has this amazing scream, and then it goes into that classic like grunge guitar riff. It's kind of Mudhoney, it's kind of Nirvana, that repetitive riff that just sticks in your head. This is probably the grungiest song on this record. Their earlier record was kind of a mix of grungy punk, like SoCal punk with like a fuzzy grunge coating, I guess. But this song, I actually really like this song, even though it's not like a traditional Muffs song. But it's like, man, it's so cool. There's the classic like dirty guitar solo at about the 1 minute 50-second mark. Her voice gets all creepy and kind of distorted, and she kind of sounds like Kim Gordon or even PJ Harvey. It gets all spooky. Oh man, I just love this song. I really love Ethyl My Love. And I also like how the song is so short and sweet. It's like the perfect length. It's a perfect little alternative rock song. Track 13, I'm Confused, is much brighter. Not necessarily lyrically, but like the guitar is like much brighter on this one than Ethyl My Love. Yeah, but it's a major key song. But the lyrics, I mean, she's singing about hating everyone, but she doesn't like it, song. And I love how at the end she just keeps repeating like, and everybody is an ass. Pretty much. And then this song ends with a whole bunch of crazy like guitar distortion that like carries over into the very last track, which is Just a Game, track 14. And that's a beautiful little acoustic song, little melancholy song to end out the album. I'm always a fan of like heavy records that end with an acoustic track. Her voice is really cool on that one. She kind of sings a little bit badly, I think on purpose, because it's the 90s. But yeah, it's that's also a really nice little song. And she's kind of like telling the person like, you might feel like you're brokenhearted and you're wallowing in your misery, but then like, it's just a game. Like I'm just messing with you, man. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to make a little video about how much I love this album, Blonder and Blonder by the Muffs. If you've ever heard the Clueless Soundtrack and you liked Kids in America, that is not an original song, it's a cover, originally by the British singer Kim Wilde. But the Muffs are very much worth checking out. Sadly, Kim Shattuck passed away a few years ago from ALS, complications from ALS, which is terrible, and I actually didn't know that. Yeah, but the Muffs are a great band, and they will live on forever in our hearts. Check them out. They're really cool. Hey, leave me a comment. Tell me what's your favorite record from 1995, or what's your favorite Muffs song. I never really get any comments on my videos, so like, come on, man. Come on. Give me something. And I'll see you next time.